Hello and welcome to our lesson on solving percent problems. So when I say percent problems, I'm talking about questions like these. What is 16% of 240? 33 is 5% of what number? 42% of what number is 80? And these types of questions can all be solved using skills that we know. It's a lot of skills that we're putting together into one process here. We're going to solve by translating. Okay, we know what percent means. We know what the word is, translates into. So translating is a skill we've practiced. We're going to put that into more practice here. And if we can translate it into an equation, so what we're going to do, we know how to solve equations, then this whole process really shouldn't be too bad. So we're going to solve these by translating the problem into an equation that we can solve. So just a few things to remember when we're translating. If we see the word percent or the percent symbol, remember percent means out of 100. So when I see 16%, I'm thinking 16 out of 100. Okay? The word is in our question translates to our equal sign. Is means equal. The word of in our question translates to multiplication. And finally, when we see the word what in each of these, that implies a question. That implies there is an unknown amount, and that is where we're going to put our variable. So the word what implies an unknown amount, and we're going to call it n or x or whatever variable makes you happy. Okay? So let's try the first one. The first one says 5. No translation there. Is our equal sign. What is our question? Percent means that gets divided by 100. Of means multiply by, and then 20. So there's our equation. Okay, not so bad. Now, just a little side note on this one. When I'm multiplying n over 100 by 20, it's really 20 over 1. So it's 20n over 100 altogether. So what I'm looking at is 5 equal to 20n over 100. So if I want to solve for n, I'm going to multiply both sides by 100 first. That gets rid of this division by 100. So 5 times 100 is 500 equal to 20n. So now I have to get rid of multiply by 20, so I divide both sides by 20. That gets rid of that. So now n is all by itself equal to 500 divided by 20, which should be 25. Good. So n equals 25. So if I wanted to answer this question, if 5 is what percent of 20? Well, it's 25%. So n equals 25 or 25%. Okay, let's try that again. Next one says 1.2 is 30% of what number? So 1.2 is our equal sign. 30% means 30 out of 100. Of means multiply, and then what number? We don't know. Let's call it n. So again, this is, on this side, this is 30 over 100 multiplied by n over 1. So it's really 30n over 100. So I'm looking at 1.2 equal to 30n over 100. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 100. Multiply there, that undoes that, and then 100 times 1.2 is just going to move the decimal twice, but if you don't believe me, let me show you. That's going to be 120, so 120 on this side equal to 30n, and now I can get rid of multiply by 30 by dividing both sides by 30. So n is going to equal 120 divided by 30, which is going to be 4. So n equals 4. So 1.2 is 30% of 4 is our correct answer. Okay? Moving right along. Hopefully you're finding these to not be so terrible. Problem number 3 says what number? So what is our question? What number is our equal sign, is 25% of 0.008. So 25% means 25 out of 100. Of means multiply by 0.008. And this one we don't even have to solve. This one is solved for us. N is already by itself, so this is just a matter of going into the calculator. So you want 25 over 100 to be multiplied by 0.008. That's 8 thousandths. And we get 0.002, so we get 2 thousandths. 0.002 is our answer. Kind of nice on that one. Didn't even have to solve. Okay, moving right along. And if you're feeling pretty confident with this, I would say test yourself out. Pause the video and see if you can do this without me. So what percent, what is our unknown? Percent means out of 100. So what percent is n out of 100 of 85? So multiply by 85, and then is, and then 34. So again, this n over 100 being multiplied by 85 is 85 over 1. So 85 over 100. And let me just move that. Put a little star. Okay, so this is 85n over 100 equal to 34. So I'm going to multiply by 100 to get rid of the divide by 100. And you can see the commonalities in these problems, right? So now I have 85n equal to 34 times 100 is just going to be 3400. And now to get rid of multiply by 85, I divide both sides by 85. So n is going to equal something that's not happening in my head, like on the last couple. 3400 divided by 85 is going to be exactly 40. So there we go. And this one is asking for what percent of 85 is 34, so that would technically be 40%. Okie dokie. Let's try another one. What is 38% of 200? So what is our unknown? Is our equal sign. 38%, 38 out of 100, of 200. Multiply by 200. Again, we do not have to solve. N is all by itself. This is just a calculator problem. And we're going to multiply by 200 and get 76. So 38% of 200 is 76. And we got one last one. Again, feel free to pause the video and give it a try. This says 40%. 40% would be 40 out of 100. Of what number? So of n is 80. So again, this is going to be 40n over 100 equal to 80. So if I want to solve for n, I'm going to get rid of divide by 100. Again, you're seeing the patterns here. So we have 40n left equal to 80 times 100 is 8000, which is 8,000. And then we're going to divide both sides by 40. That's going to get rid of that. Multiply by 40, and then n is going to equal, that's going to be, what, 200? Let me just not trust my overworked brain here. And there it is, 200. So n equals 200. So the question was, 40% of what number is 80? Well, 40% of 200 is going to be 80. Okay, so there you have it. Some pretty straightforward, hopefully pretty straightforward math. You may end up with some decimal answers. I did happen to make these all work out kind of nicely. If you end up with decimal answers, don't worry about it. That's possible. You're not going to be able to take percentages of numbers and always end up with a whole number. So hopefully you got enough to get going on your practice. And as always, if you need some extra help, then just reach out. Till next time, take care.